Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today it's just going to be a fun little segment. I often get asked a lot about why do people send you these reels? Some of them, right? Some are obvious. They're good reels. They've been fishing friends for a while, and just time for their annual service. And sometimes we get some unusual stuff in, and folks often question, well, why did you get that reel in? What provoked that person to send it and ask you to service it? And sometimes, quite honestly, I have to scratch my head myself. But normally, there's a story behind every reel, and the reel is important to that person that's sending it in, regardless of what the street value may be. And I know that a lot of times that's what's generating the interest from other viewers, is if the reel is only worth several dollars, why are you going to pay to have it serviced and all? Wouldn't it be better just to dispose of it and let it go? And sometimes, from time to time, that I ask myself that question, particularly if I see something like a low-end Shimano rear drag FX reel that probably costs $13 new. But a lot of times there's sentimental value in it, and a lot of times I just kind of go along with our viewers and say why. So let's look at a couple of them. I got a couple in this week, and that's exactly what the thinking was that I had. Why is this important to these people, and how can I help them out? Before I do that, thinking about helping out, I want to thank our first responders and essential personnel, everybody involved in keeping us safe during the pandemic. Truly our local hometown heroes. I look up to them. I hope that all of you recognize the work and that they're doing, putting themselves in harm's way for our benefit, and I truly do appreciate it. The reels that we have here today are going to be a little variety. So here's one. This is the Penn 259. Now the Penn 259 is what was called the Long Beach Live Baitcaster. This reel was made in the 40s and 50s, and it's not much more than a Penn 65 with an additional trim ring on it. Kind of the predecessor of the Penn 3.0. It kind of all looks the same, right? A little bit narrower and the like. This reel is missing at a minimum 3 side plate screws. It's got heavy corrosion on it. It's going to be able to get cleaned up for sure, and we're going to do a project on that, show you how to clean this thing up. It's got a broken handle on it. If you start to get underneath this one, it's going to be fairly expensive. You know, you have to go out and get the screws, get the handle. The handle by itself is usually about $15. We're going to want to do the full tune-up on it. A reel of this age is going to need the drag washers replaced for sure. But BJ from Hawaii is very much interested in getting this one fishing again. I don't blame him. I think these are nice, fine reels, and we're going to do our best to make sure that that one gets cleaned. BJ also sent the second reel in. He sent in the big Senator 4.0. Somehow I got an extra star adjuster in there. This is a black-sided one with the Marlin. This is a little bit different than what you see on some of these. A lot of these side plates from the 4.0 Senator will have a trolling scene kind of a thing, but this one is the Marlin side plate. Again, it's got some pretty heavy salt damage, corrosion, haze, fog, whatever we want to call it. But otherwise, this one seems to be doing okay. Now, there's play in the handle, which generally tells you that the gear shaft is going to need to be replaced. I don't think that that's the same star adjuster. And other than that, we don't have an anti-reverse, so we're going to have to figure out what to do with that. One of the problems with this reel is if that has the long spring for the anti-reverse, the flat spring. Those are harder to come by. We may have to fashion one of them, but that can be put back to play. So BJ's in Hawaii. They've got some beautiful ocean fishing there for sure. He sent me these 2 reels. I've worked on a reel of his in the past, and we're going to get these back out there fishing again. There's nothing looking at these reels that I see that say they can't be repaired and that they can't last for a long time to come. So I can't say that about the next reel that came in. Quite honestly, if I had seen this reel in a flea market or anything, I'd walk right past it. Maybe I would even run right past it. But this one has come in. They asked me if I can recondition this one. I believe this is the fellow's dad's reel. So this is one that goes down as sentimental value. and that's probably the only value there is in this. Everything on this thing is highly corroded. I think what I might do on this one is do something I usually don't recommend too much, and that is to just get rid of all the chrome. So you can do that with a hydrochloric acid found in toilet bowl cleaner. It'll take all of this down to basically brass, but that's probably the best way to make this thing even look presentable. We've got a broken side plate here. The spare pole came out of that. That's broken. I don't think that we can do anything with that one. There's no threading or anything on there that would tell me that. Surprisingly, the reel turns and it's moving. So I can do what I can do here. It's a sentimental reel. That's the only reason why you would even want to do something like this. But we will do that, and we will get it back out to them, and we'll straighten out the line guide, do some other things, but hopefully that'll give him the memories that he's looking for. And then finally, here's a box that I haven't looked at yet. Tim up in Olympus, Massachusetts. Should have an address, return address on here. Don't see it. That's interesting in itself. But I think this is from Tim in Massachusetts. New Hampshire. There's one. Tim in New Hampshire sending me 3 pen reels. And the first question out of his mind is, are they even worth repairing? So that kind of makes me wonder what I'm getting here. And then from there, we'll see what we can do. So the first one up looks like a standard Jigmaster. This is another one that looks like it has a handle issue. And he didn't explain these. He did explain that he's an older gentleman, like most of my friends are. And that he would like these brought up to speed. So we have a knob that's missing on this one. It looks like that handle will have to be replaced. Clicker on. The reel seems to be turning pretty good. We have the issues here with the corrosion and salt use. New Hampshire makes sense. New Hampshire does have a small portion of its boundaries on the Atlantic seaboard. And I think we'll be able to make this one work. So my vote there is that one's worth fixing. We have a second one. This looks like the bigger version of the Penn Long Beach. This would be a 66, I think. This is a 67. So the 67 has a stuck handle. That usually can get freed up with some penetrating oil. It's probably stuck because it's got a bend in it. You can see how it's been pushed in. If it's pushing in, it's putting pressure on that little ferrule there. So we'll straighten the handle. We'll try and get that going. Surprisingly, parts are still available for these reels. It's got a very loose spool. That's the chirp you're hearing. And it may have a bent frame. We're going to have to see how that one plays out. All right, so that's 2. And I think his intention is to use these to go fishing. So if that's the case, I think generally speaking, if you have a Penn reel, it's worth it to get it done. And here's the third one. And those of you that watch my channel know that one of my favorite reels. This is the Penn Level Wind 350. It's the first reel that my dad bought for me when I was a kid. Back in the late 50s, he bought it when we were out going fishing. This has the torsion bar on it, and this reel is tight. There's something just not right when it gets up on these strokes. So we're going to have to find out. We're going to get inside that one, find out why when it gets to this point. So, interestingly enough, if it's a gear problem, if it's a small gear, the sticking point will always be in an opposite or a different position all the time. If it always occurs in the same position, so for example, if you're sticking there and you come around and it was sticking back up there again, that would be a main gear. It would have a broken tooth or something of the like. Or because it would be a single rotation where you would reach that bent tooth. If it's a worn tooth on the pinion gear, well, that's a smaller one. That's going around at an odd ratio. I think the ratio on this one might be 3.1, so it would be at a different position that it sticks each time that sticking occurs. Now we're over here, so it seems like it's about every 270 degrees on the turn it's sticking. That generally tells me that probably is a pinion gear issue there. So we'll take them apart and find out. So to answer Tim's question briefly, those are all worth repairing and putting back into action again, giving them a second chance. And that's a little bit of an idea of why people send me the reels that they do, and some of the reasons behind it. In this case, Tim's got some beautiful reels here that just need a little TLC. It's been a while. In the case of that 209, it's a sentimental reel. There's no price you can put on just kind of keeping a memory that maybe your dad or your uncle or somebody in your family gave you. So that one will do our best to see what we can do to restore that and keep that around for a while. And the ones that BJ sent, he's got a ready, willing, and can't wait to get these back in the water attitude about a couple of older pens. And for the price of the service and the replacement parts, you couldn't buy a reel like that today. So I hope that's satisfied your curiosity, and it's satisfied mine. It's enough to keep me doing my best to get these reels out there and giving them a second chance. So if you like these kinds of videos, the best way to see what I'm doing is to subscribe and hit notifications. Interestingly enough, some of these may appear up there as a video showing you how I restored these or what the problems were that I ran into them. If you like this video, please like it and indicate that. And then if you have a question on this reel or any reels in particular, and I can help you, just leave that in the comments section. I'll be more than happy to try and give you some advice about how to proceed with a reel repair, or maybe even you're considering a purchase or something like that. I'll be happy to try and lend my expertise there. Finally, if you like any of these individuals and you would like to have a reel repaired or serviced, I do that obviously by mail, and I would be happy to provide you reel repair information. Just contact me by email on the business card that follows. So please stay safe, stay well, stay healthy, say thank you to our first responders, stay fishing, stay watching, and have a great day. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle.